Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Lasham Daily Briefing for Friday, the 13th of February, 2026. We'll start by looking at stock tick yesterday lunchtime to begin with. We can see some of the frontal features here that were bringing us that steady and pleasant weather, moving in bands. It's a very small amount of flying done yesterday and Wednesday. And looking like we have a similar low pressure system continuing today, albeit with a little bit more of an opportunity for club flying. So midnight last night, this low centred to the south of Ireland there, bringing with it a warm front here passing overnight, as well as a cold front to the southwest and an occlusion to the north. And that occlusion is associated with this low over into the continent. By midday today, that occlusion is working its way south, along with what's become a cold front from that original warm front, and that's liable to pass sort of early afternoon. So we can expect lower clouds and some rain around that time of day. Into tomorrow, all of a sudden a bit of a high pressure just ridging in, leading to what should be a very pleasant day in terms of flying. Nice clear skies, so quite cool temperatures, and unfortunately very slack isobars here. So the initial hopes for South Downs Day are perhaps dashed. Back to today, however, looking at the sat pit, you can see a bit of cloud over the south of the UK, a little bit thinner towards the Channel, and then some thick cloud over the Midlands and up into southern Scotland. But in our area, remaining sort of scattered at the moment, only increasing throughout the day as that front approaches. You almost make out that line there in the cloud. The rain radar, lots of unsettled, showery weather to the north of us. We are remaining mostly clear at the moment, although some starting to build down to the south in the Channel there. And looking at the Met Office prediction for rain, running that through. So we do have a bit of a reprieve until maybe around midday, or possibly slightly later, 1 o'clock. And that's when we start to see that rain working its way in, although not particularly strong until the later part, heavy, I should say, until the latter part of the afternoon. The TAF at Odium showing 110 degrees, 5 knots, very light southeasterly, with reasonable visibility, greater than 10 kilometers, and a few clouds at 1,000 feet. This morning, they were expecting 3,500 meter vis with some mist, although that doesn't really appear to have materialized. And then later into the day, scattered at 1,000 feet, and a prob 30 of some fog to begin. Again, not materializing here either. And then some light showers from 11 until 6, and possibly slightly later into that window as well, I would imagine, maybe closer to 12 or 1 o'clock. And then showers increasing in their strength later on from about 4 o'clock until 6 o'clock. Farnborough is sort of fairly similar, variable wind at 3 knots, so even lighter than forecast at Odium. Still showing mist and reduced visibility, although I think we're getting away with that at the moment. And then broken at 100 feet, broken at 400 feet later up until about midday, and then some rain showers coming in as well. So I think we've definitely got the better weather to the west. Looking at the winds, aloft to the south of us in the Channel, variable at 5, and to the north, light easterly. Although getting up to sort of 25, 20 knots at flying height. Looking at the local wind, surface wind across the airfield, you can see a very, very light easterly flow there, leading to preference for runway 09 today. And Met Office here, local forecast showing very light 4 or 5 knots, perhaps gusting up towards 10 or 12 throughout the day. The pictorial symbol forecast here as well, showing rain from about 1:30 to 2 o'clock. Humidity remaining high throughout the day, which is going to be a deciding factor. If we do get a little bit of that lower clouds, it's going to be sort of deciding factor, although reducing throughout the day until the arrival of that front. So The lack of mist and cloud at the moment is a relatively good sign, and hopefully it means we'll get some use out of this morning. GFS showing a temperature around about 8 degrees in places and a dew point of 5. Presently, we are up to 4.8 degrees centigrade locally and a dew point of 3.1. So that there is the view from the south side webcam looking to the west, and you can see a little bit of haze on the horizon, but generally nice and clear here. Very, very slack wind, and hopefully that will continue, certainly for the initial part of the day. Cross section here on Skysight showing again mist and fog to begin with, in conclusion with all of the other models, although just not quite materializing here. A little bit of a gap with some very low level broken cloud or scattered cloud perhaps even around about 11 or 12 o'clock, and then they're actually showing the showers arriving later around about 3:30, which not too dissimilar from the Met Office forecast model, but it's likely that we'll start to see those showers a little bit earlier around about this area here. Daytime wise, nothing of great significance, particularly given the forecast local flying only. And on to glider bookings, there's 3 K21s on booked flying and 1 for the casual list. There's also plenty of single-seater availability, and the simulator is online should it be required after the funds arrived. Nothing to report as far as movements are concerned at this time. And in summary, surrounded by low pressure, we can expect the passage of a cold front followed closely behind by an occlusion. Light east and northeasterly winds all day, fog clearing or not forming at all, with rain coming in later in the day. We'll be operating runway 09 this morning, full winter ops landing on the runway, and we'll have cables on the north side, air returning from the south. There's our airfield setup. The launch point set forwards in line with the 16 cross runway, more or less. Winching off the north side there, with cables coming down the north side grass, and air returning from the south of the centre line. Making sure that when we land, we're landing short on the runway early and stopping by the aiming markers here in line with the usual launch point position. Please do not roll beyond that or try and taxi up to the back of the launch point. Stop there and either pull by hand or tow forwards with the buggy. If for whatever reason this section of the runway is blocked, the north side grass can be available for landing, but it is very, very wet. That's all from me this morning. We'll see you out there shortly. Let's make the most of the wind that we have and keep it safe. Thank you.